bit about me and kind of what my role entails. I am responsible for all safety and security throughout the adult and juvenile facilities. That includes all the housing units, booking processes, health services, medical, all of our contract services that we carry, programs, the fiscal management, just the overall operations. A little bit about me as far as my training and everything. I graduated from the National Jail Leadership Command Academy that's offered in Huntsville, Texas. It's a prestige training that jails and professional staff have an opportunity to be able to go to. School of Law Enforcement Supervision graduate. Completed Arkansas Sheriff's Administration and Management training. For the state of Arkansas, I am one of 3 certified jail managers, which actually makes me certified to do the job that I'm doing. That's through the American Jail Association. We only have 3 in the entire state, and all 3 of them, I'm very proud to say, work right here in Garland County. Another one is actually in the audience, Captain Linda Cosgrove. And I've also received administrative training from the National Institute of Corrections. So they provide training nationwide for jails across America. And more importantly, they provide direct supervision training on jails, which is very specific, and I'll kind of go into how we operate our facility as we go on through the slide. So this is just kind of an overview of the facility from the outside. This was taken back in 2015. Back in 2015, I was fortunate to be a part of the transition team. So I was actually out on our site whenever it was nothing but dirt and rebar. And part of my role as a transition coordinator was overseeing the transition process from our old facility that was over here at 525 Washita to the new facility. And there was a lot of processes that went into place. The construction, wanted to make sure everything went well. The furniture, fixtures, equipment, all the contract services. And I was also privileged to be the individual writer of every policy and procedure that operates this facility. And they're all driven in accordance to a certain set of standards that guide our entire operations. And I'll go through some of those standards here in just a bit. Facility overview. This is just a little bit about the facility for anybody that doesn't know. It was a $42 million project based on 57 acres of land, 168,000 square feet. We have an operating budget of about $8 million. We have 96 outstanding personnel that work at this facility. I can't say enough great things about our staff, but I will have an opportunity tonight to go showcase a few of them. As of right now, I'm actually proud to say we only have 3 vacancies. And that is particularly impressive, as I learned today, for the United States Department of Justice. The number of sworn law enforcement officers nationwide has decreased since 2013. They're down 23,000 sworn officers across the nation. But here in Garland County, we're able to have 3 vacancies as of right now. So I'm very proud of our human resource coordinator, Morgan Cardenas. She does an absolutely amazing job. We opened in 2015, I mentioned that. We opened with the inmate capacity of 346 inmates. And you'll notice on here it shows that we have an average daily population of 350. 3 years ago, we identified that we were having an increase in our inmate population, an increase in the trend. So 3 years ago, we took action. And we actually were able to transition from one of our smaller housing units within the detention center into one of our larger housing units. And whenever we did that, we were able to expand our inmate population and not have to request any additional funding. We were able to operate within the budget that was reported to us. This is an example of one of the housing units which we operate. We operate under the philosophy of direct supervision, and our facility design is built specifically to that. You'll notice that this is going to be a little bit different design than what you might have seen in a traditional jail or anything you might have seen on TV. We took the national best practices and designs from other facilities who've been doing it for years, and we said we don't want to reinvent the wheel whenever it comes to this. We want to bring it all here in Garland County and operate what everybody else has been doing since 1981, which is when direct supervision first started coming around. Within this housing unit, the design of it is to limit inmate movement. So in everything that we do, we try to keep it right here inside the housing unit. We offer video visitation, so no public contact visits occur within this housing unit. We have tables and chairs set up where we can deliver all food services directly to the unit. We have our phone services here, we do programs here, religious services. We have medical triage rooms that are designed on every housing unit where we can do all medical services, or most medical services here inside the housing unit, as well as recreation areas. This is going to be a detention center overview. So I mentioned it's 168,000 square feet. This design, it leaves off the courtroom, but we'll be able to catch that on the next slide. It's Main Street, what we call Main Street. It's this long hallway that goes all the way up and down the facility. It's 582 feet long, so just about 2 football fields in length. So we try to stress on the importance of physical fitness with our staff. We have 8 housing units, administration area, and the way that we set up our supervisors is strategically throughout the entire facility. So myself, and I'll have a captain that's located up here in the administration area. We'll have a corporal that operates right here inside the booking area. We have another corporal positioned about midway through the housing units. We have another captain located in programs, another corporal down at the end of the hall, as well as a lieutenant and sergeant's office at the end of the hall. So we try to spread all supervisors throughout the entire building to maintain effective accountability for the inmates and staff. So, some more about the facility overview, and you kind of see where the courtroom's located that I mentioned. This kind of gives a brief overview of what all these different areas are, and I got a list there as far as some of the components of our facility. Some other facts about the jail. We have over 280 cameras throughout the entire building to be able to effectively monitor all areas as best we can. It's derived with over 200,000 concrete blocks, 1,200 intercoms and card readers, 150 miles of wiring, and 192 cells. What's interesting about all these cameras, card readers, and intercoms, I was the security electronics administrator on our transition team, so one of my collateral duties as far as overseeing the process in itself was I had to individually go through the entire facility and check to make sure everything that we were paying for was working. So I mentioned direct supervision, and I understand, the question is, well, what is direct supervision? I mean, that is an operating philosophy where we manage our innate behavior versus physically contained. It's, as far as physical design, you eliminate the officer from having a non-barrier, and so you want to be able to have face-to-face contact with the inmates. So you have a workstation that's positioned specifically within the unit where the deputy is able to monitor all the inmates within that unit. So you'll have one deputy for anywhere between 60 and 70 inmates. This is a unique design and philosophy to Arkansas whenever we first brought it in. The more progressive states, Florida, California, Colorado, they've transitioned to this model and found that it was a lot safer to operate in this fashion. The jail is actually more secure, and it holds the inmates to a higher standard. Everything that we operate under direct supervision, there's certain elements, principles, and dynamics that we train our staff on, to include the classification and orientation process. We provide training to our staff to ensure that we have competent staff in every facility, every housing unit, and every position throughout the building. We emphasize greatly on interpersonal communication skills to be able to actually talk to these inmates and actually be able to de-escalate situations versus escalate. Effective supervision. As I mentioned, we have staff positioned inside every housing unit. We have ownership of these operations. We treat everybody with just and fair. We maintain manageable and cost-effective operations. Even within our touch screens, they are designed to where we can operate light settings throughout the units throughout the day to be able to manage our utility costs. And safety of the staff and inmates. Throughout everything that we do, everything is geared towards safety, security, and setting expectations for inmates so that they hold everything that we ask them to do. So we set a clear set of guidelines, rules, regulations, and we hold inmates accountable to that. The overall goal with direct supervision is also active and continuous supervision with inmates. So actually being in these units, we're actually able to gauge if an inmate is starting to act outside the norm. So we can actually identify those cues and dig into them, actually identify what is the root cause of what's actually going on here. As I mentioned, I worked over here at the old facility at 525 Washington, and we operated under linear supervision. And I can say that this is absolutely way safer than any other facility operation philosophy. Whenever I worked over here at the old facility, well, one, we were overpopulated, which is a nationwide issue. But even with an 88-bed facility with 200 inmates in it, so I would actually physically have to walk over inmates just doing a head count and actually seeing if everybody was supposed to be in there is in there. More importantly, what's dangerous about that sort of supervision is you don't know what's been going on inside the housing unit all day. So you've got It's essentially a similar setup in that you got 60 inmates inside one unit, but the difference is you have no clue what's being going in there all day. So you'll see people at the old facility walking around with bruises or bumps, and you have no clue what happened. You'll see new graffiti on the wall and no idea what happened. This allows this deputy to be able to operate a unit very similar to what you might call community policing for law enforcement. Actually going through corner to corner, checking on inmates, engaging and identifying what the root cause is, instead of just coming in an hour later and taking your educated guess. So direct supervision is an approach produced, this philosophy produced a string of success in a field known for its failures. I just mentioned a lot of the failures that are kind of associated with the linear supervision, such as our old facility. We did the best that we could with what we had, but direct supervision, it first came about in 1981, and it produced so many new avenues of success. And again, we're trying to identify the root causes of issues. And in history, we've tried to, let's lock them up, let's, don't worry about it, let's put them out of our mind, out of sight, out of mind for the next 6 months, and after 6 months, they serve their sentence, release them back into the community, and hey, we got a new person. It doesn't work like that. We tried it, history showed us that, guess what, our population is just going to continue to rise, because we're inadvertently basically just avoiding what is the true problem. So we're trying our best within our county and with our new facility to identify what are the root causes of people coming in. So through our programs and services department, we were able to gauge different programs to be able to help inmates and help build a better community. And the way that we're able to do that is by offering anger management classes. How many people come into our facility that have anger management issues? There's a few. Parenting classes, GED. We have people in our facility that do not know how to read and write. It's very, very basic. But whenever they get released, we're expecting them to go get a job, go fill out that application, become a productive member of our society. It just doesn't work like that. There's expectations, but we want to give them the tools to meet those expectations that we're asking them. We want them to help us build a better community, not go against them. Mission, vision, and value. I'm not going to sit up here and read all this, but I think it's very important to understand where we are, where we're going, and how we're going to get there. So the mission of the jail and the Garland County Sheriff's Department will always be that we're here to protect the community in everything that we do. We will never make any decisions that would put the community in jeopardy. We are here to help prevent crime, preserve peace, and the vision that we hold as we accomplish this mission is to give what we promised the community back in 2015. Through innovative, cost-effective operations, we're going to exceed the state, which I'm going to prove to you here in a little bit that we have done in our jail operations. We've far exceeded any expectations anybody has set upon us for jail operations within the state of Arkansas. We're going to expand those to the region, which I'll hopefully prove to you tonight that we are arguably one of the best facilities in the region, and how we're going to be able to be among the top 3% in the entire nation, which we are already setting groundwork on how we're going to be able to do that. But in everything that we do, every decision that we ever make are according to those values: service, honor, integrity, and professionalism. Everything that we do is around those values. So here's some goals and objectives that we set for our facility. At the beginning of every year, we collectively meet with command staff and we say, what new ambitions are we trying to reach this year? And we want good, clear, measurable objectives, and we want to cross off the list anything that we've accomplished. We don't need to do the same thing over and over again. We need to get better. We need to reach our full potential as a facility and as individual staff. So again, I won't go through this entire list, but I just wanted to give you an understanding of kind of where we're at. Goal number 1. This has been the goal since 2015. Whenever we opened the facility, we promised the community that we would pursue this route. And by showing this to you tonight, it holds ourselves accountable as well. Pursue American Correctional Association national accreditation pursuant to the Adult Local Detention Facility Standards. All of our policy and procedures are written in accordance to this set of standards. Only 3% of the jails in the entire nation have been able to accomplish that feat. And that's why it's still one of our goals since we've held since 2015. We have made tremendous strides since 2015 to reaching that goal, and our objectives have changed just about every year. It started off with completing the development of post orders and forms. Got that done. The next year, complete all policy and procedures in accordance to the American Correctional Association. Got all that done. This year, we are next week will be our first formal mock audit through the American Correctional Association. We've been planning that all year. We've been prepping staff. We've been giving them interview questions. We've been trying to help build them and get them to have full buy-in of ACA and the problems they do. But we are very excited with the formal mock audit. Just like anything that we do, we always welcome audits. They're always very strenuous, they're very tiresome. But through audits and through assessments, we're able to act as a continuous means of improvement and constantly helping other professionals in our field tell us where we may be falling short and that we may need to be able to pick up. And that is a forever and always practice. We'll never be the absolute best at everything that we can possibly do. There's always room for improvement, and we want others to help us be able to identify that. The second goal, strengthen staff retention efforts and ability to ensure adequate levels are maintained. This time last year, that was an issue. We had vacancies. And just like I mentioned earlier, the nationwide law enforcement field has been experiencing issues with vacancies. I'm proud to say that today we only have 3 vacancies, but last year we had many. And we saw that our inmate population trends were increasing. We forecasted our inmate population trends back in 2011, and we checked it again last year, and all the population trends were still pretty much in line. The inmate population in America continues to grow. So we saw that we were getting close to needing to have to open up another housing unit, and our staffing levels at the time couldn't sustain it. We can open up another housing unit all day, but with all these vacancies, who's going to run it? No one. So we had to step back, reevaluate the situation, and place a concentrated effort throughout this year on strengthening the staff retention efforts. Through our efforts, we were able to, as I mentioned, direct supervision philosophy. Last year, about this time, we developed a new orientation program for all of our staff specifically towards direct supervision. So week 1, whenever someone comes in, we give them some of the basic tools of how to operate, how to clock in, clock out, how to check your email. But then we do a 3-day training just on direct supervision philosophy. And we built this training curriculum based on the best practices provided by the National Institute of Corrections. They go around all these facilities in the nation, and we took their training curriculum and we adopted it right here in Garland County. And through those efforts, we do believe that we've been able to cut down on those staff retention or the vacancies. We were able to cut down by 1 every single time that we were having new assessments, new applicants come through. We do a more comprehensive application process where we try to enlighten people exactly what you're getting into, because this is a very tough field, as proven by the retention issues across the nation. This time last year, another program that we developed was a supervisor training program. We've never had one. We promote people to a corporal or sergeant or lieutenant and say, here you go, here's your keys, and best of luck to you. So we took a step back and said, wait a minute, that's got to be one of the root issues that we're identifying here. So we developed an entire training program based on the professionals that we've learned from and all these prestigious courses that we went to. So we've actually made a supervisor training program to discuss how do you deal with a difficult employee? How do you give effective employee performance evaluations and actually train staff on how to be better? We incorporated risk management. I mean, running a jail has extreme liabilities with it, but we never had that formal training to educate every single one of our supervisors. It was more of a hands-on approach, and you kind of learn as you go, but we caught all that right in the gate. Since I started with the Sheriff's Office in 2011, our ratio of losing a supervisor was about once every 3 months. Every 3 months we were losing a supervisor, and that was since I first started. And it didn't change all the way up until last year. I incorporated the supervisor training program, and for whatever reason, in the last year, we have not lost a single supervisor. So I've got to say that that's got to be at least part and parcel to some of our success. Goal number 3, become the model detention center in the region. That used to read, up until last year, become the model detention center in the state. That's what we said in 2015, 16, 17, 18. We blew that out of the water, I'm telling you. We've got the Criminal Detention Facility Review Board. The coordinator, Sterling Penix, will go around and his audit team will check all facilities in the state. Every time he comes to Garland County, he's just in awe. We've got something right going on. We knew that right out the gate, and we continue to build on it. It's like, great, we really appreciate the compliment. We're doing great. How can we do better? Because we're not where we want to be personally. We want to reach our full potential. So I changed that this year to the region. Some of the ways that we are exceeding the state and arguably in the region is Remain the model detention center in the state through continuous of operations principles and direct supervision, programs offered, and inmate behavior modification. We are arguably exceeding the state in the programs offered, and that's coming from the Arkansas Review Board, who goes around and sees all the facilities in the state. And it's also apparent whenever he keeps sending people our way to ask, hey, can you help this other facility kind of get some of these programs up and running? And we're more than happy to. We love to be able to share information. It's a two-way street. Through professional and competent staff, increase the number of certified jail officers and certified jail managers within our ranks. I mentioned earlier, there's only 3 certified jail managers, people that are certified to operate a jail. There's only 3 in the entire state. We've got all 3 of them right here in Garland County, and we're working on our 4th. So I couldn't be proud of our staff on that. Certified jail officers, we exceed the entire region of the professional certified staff that we have right here in Garland County. You can compare us with anybody, Texas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Tennessee, anybody around us. You can measure these facts that are on the American Jail Association website. You can check. We strive and want our staff to be professional, competent, and know their job, and we back it up through certifications. Through networking and openness and associations, we will encourage other agencies to benchmark with us. The reason why I believe that we are exceeding the region on that 3rd objective is just in the last 10 days. I'll just go back 10 days. There have been 3 states that's reached out to us, not in Arkansas, outside the state of Arkansas. Tennessee's reached out to us on some of the programs that we offer. Utah Department of Corrections reached out to us and have expressed that they use some of our own training curriculum, and they've actually mentioned also that they're trying to model kind of Garland County's way of operating right over there in Utah, which is amazing. We love hearing that. But again, it's a two-way street, so every time they come to us, we're trying to reach out to them, just build those networks. Gallup, New Mexico was the 3rd. They reached out to us, and they are building a new facility. Sounds familiar for us. Hey, we just built a new facility. They're going through the exact same process, and they're going through all these different jails. They're touring throughout the nation, and they came to Garland County. They said, again, got to give our staff some props on this. They said that we had the most professional staff that they've seen in any other facility that they've gone through before, and it just makes me so happy for them, because I know this stuff. I see it every single day. And it really becomes apparent whenever we send people to other trainings or other people coming to our facility, or even whenever we're going through different conferences. We see these different aspects every day. It helps to build that perception of where we are. So some of this I already mentioned, some nationwide recognition that we receive right here in Garland County are the certified jail managers and certified jail officers. Another item of note that I hadn't mentioned yet was in the American Jail Journal magazine of the American Jail Association, featured very regularly in this magazine. And it showcases not only our facility, but most importantly, the people that operate that facility. All of our professional staff, the programs that we have, and our efforts on staff retention. And that just kind of tells a little bit about the exams and what some of the people have to go through whenever they're taking those exams. I've talked so much about staff, I just had to put something up there. They are so professional, they're doing the job every single day. And yeah, there's challenges. I mean, it's the jail. I mean, there's going to be challenges that we face every single day. But something that I tell my staff, and I tell them regularly, is that you're going to have those hard days. You're going to come across some really tough situations. But don't allow that 1% to blind you from the 99% of great things that are occurring every single moment in that facility. And I know it just walking right into a housing unit. And whenever I see that any of these deputies walking into a housing unit, you can just feel the ownership. Whenever I walk into the housing unit, inmates aren't running to me. Even though I'm the chief, and a lot of times in the old facility, they would think, oh, he can solve all my problems. No, there's people working in that housing unit. That is their housing unit. So whenever I walk in, if they want to talk to me about maybe a grievance or a medical situation, they will go to the housing deputy first. And they say, Deputy King, may I speak with Chief Elrod just for a minute? And she'll tell them, look, no, he's busy at the moment, he's inspecting something, whatever the case may be. That is true ownership of our facility, and I feel safe whenever I walk inside the housing units because these individuals are extremely competent, professional, and certified. Some more national recognition. In the room today, we have the 2018 American Jail Association Correctional Supervisor. That's Captain Belinda Cosgrove. She does an absolute tremendous job. That is a very prestigious award. They only give out one of those every year. Through the American Jail Association, you have to go against everybody in the nation who gets nominated. And we have one right here. Adult and juvenile facilities. We are the first ever in the state of Arkansas to become fully compliant with the Department of Justice standards. So the Department of Justice has a set of standards, PREA, which is the Prison Rape Elimination Act. There is 2 states in the entire nation that said, you know what, we're not going to be able to meet those standards. Arkansas is one of them. But we said, we're not going to be like everybody else in the state. We promised the community that we will not settle for anything less. So we reached out to the PREA on our own accord, and we got 100% fully compliant with every standard that they set in place for us. Our adult and juvenile facilities are the only facilities in the state of Arkansas to do so. Seeking accreditation through the American Correctional Association, I mentioned that. Only 3% of the jails are able to achieve. We have them all taught scheduled next week. Lex Pole, that is a national training database that trains fire and emergency response, law enforcement, these type of personnel, and they do it nationwide. Well, they came to Garland County 2 years ago because of our professional staff and the training curriculum. We operate under the best known practices, and they used some of these videos to share across the nation. And it's estimated that Garland County is in 18 different states and viewed by an estimated 200 different agencies. And we see some of this feedback whenever I have the Utah Department of Correction reaching out to us and complimenting on the training videos that they're using that feature in Garland County. So it's great stuff. Undertakings. So on a regular basis, we host prestigious community leadership programs, Citizens Police Academy, Team Police Academy, Leadership of Hot Springs, tours and enlightenment of the facility. And we do tours all the time. Anytime anybody has ever asked me, hey, can we have a tour of the jail? We'd love to be able to see and just kind of see how things are going on. We've never been in there. Absolutely. I will make it happen. So we do have an age requirement on the tours. We've got to, again, safety and security first. But we always welcome tours, and we've also become the demo site for the University of Arkansas with our garden. Some more accomplishments. These are just some quick stats that I was able to grab and throw into this PowerPoint. So you can see in the year 2015, that's the year that we opened. We had extensive training to be able to get understand this new philosophy and be able to open up this facility. We had 3,058 training hours amongst all of us. And you can see how that number increased as of last year, 15,127 hours of training. That is through us listening to our staff. That's all that is. You know, they say that, hey, you know what, I feel safe doing this activity within the jail. Absolutely. Stand back, let's take a step back and see what we can add in the training curriculum to be able to enhance that. Brand new staff coming in the door. Last year, we developed the orientation of direct supervision philosophy. We incorporated the very first supervisor training program for our new supervisors. So all that kind of comes into play with those training hours. We started to document 15-minute shift briefing trainings that was never documented before. So we gave staff credit in their training file where they were never receiving training or credit before. We're constantly identifying means of continuous improvement through certification, seeking accreditation, and formal assessments. Again, we're trying to get better every single day in everything that we're doing. We received a 100% compliance score every single year since 2015 through the Arkansas Criminal Detention Facility Review Board. Again, they go to all the different jails in the state, and they came here and we've been 100%. We yearly send individuals, some command staff, to the National Jail Leadership Command Academy. That was one that I went to. It's a great training opportunity for staff, and we send them to show our investment in our personnel. Successfully maintained, I mentioned all the policy and procedures. They got to be able to adhere to all these different requirements that we have to meet every single day. Criminal Detention Facility Review Committee, that's the state standards. Department of Justice, that's the PREA. National Commission on Correctional Health Care, Arkansas Department of Health, Arkansas Code Annotated, American Correctional Association, building inspections, Arkansas Crime Information Center, that's our APIS fingerprint machines, and Commission on Law Enforcement Standards and Training, because yes, we are law enforcement. We do enforce the law within our realm, and it helps to enforce inmate accountability. And there's more, but all these different standards that we have to know, understand, and operate under every single day. There's always opportunities for us to miss something, and That's where we reach out. Let's have an assessment. Let's do the accreditations. Let's bring people from the outside in, because somebody from the outside is always going to be able to catch something that maybe we're missing. You just keep getting better. That is a statement that was made by the Arkansas Department of Health, and I'd like to elaborate on that quote just for a minute. Last year, the Arkansas Department of Health, they came in, they did a surprise inspection of the jail. They went to our food services department, went around, did their inspection, did their audit, and as soon as they were done, they came directly to my office. And of course, my mind's immediately going, all right, what do we need to fix? But that wasn't the case. They said that group of auditors has been checking our facility every single year since 2015, since the day that we opened. And they said that last year was the best that it has ever seen. And they just wanted to come up and just tell me that. They said that there was, some minor corrections that they needed to do. They notified the food service manager. They were correcting it right there on the spot. And it was just the best that they've ever seen. This year, another surprise inspection, and that's all they could say. They said, you guys just keep getting better. So I was very, very proud, and I'm especially proud of Captain Linda Cosgrove, because she oversees the food services department. So again, just a tremendous member who's doing extremely well. Programs and services. I can't give this area justice no matter how hard I try. Programs is such an integral part of our facility, and it helps keep our staff safe. So what I'm going to have to do is, for programs and services, I'm going to have to bring up the expert, bring up the best. She's already rolling her eyes. It's Captain Linda Cosgrove. Before you come up, I just want to be able to give you a proper introduction. For anybody who doesn't know this fantastic woman, last year she was appointed by the Arkansas State Governor to be a part of the Board of Coalition for Juvenile Justice. She is the PREA Compliance Manager for the Juvenile Detention Center. She is one of 3 certified jail managers in the state of Arkansas. She led Garland County in the most recognized programs in the entire state and arguably the region. And in 2018, she was the American Jail Association Correctional Supervisor of the Year through the American Jail Association. So, Captain, would you please give me the honor?
And I have to say thank you, but I always feel bad when people applaud, because I really can't take the credit. You know, we have an amazing staff, but more importantly, we have an amazing community. I have 164 volunteers that come in weekly to help provide the programs. And I wish they were all here so they could speak, but I could not do it without the community. So we're going to go just through some of the programs. We don't have to go through all of them. I don't know if you're aware, but we have a full-time substance abuse coordinator, Chris Gaya. It's a 90-day program. He works with all the judges, district and circuit, to provide services. And one of the key things that he does, he transitions them out to the community, whether it's outpatient or they need more inpatient or they just need resources in the community. He helps with that case plan. Veterans Unit, we're very proud to house veterans in our facility. The adult education, GED. So we partner with National Park College. They're on our site 5 days a week and 2 evenings. To prepare for our ACA audit next week, I asked for some stats from them. In the last year, 403 inmates have advanced 3 grades or more by going to school out there. So we're proud of that. We've had 36 inmates get their GED in the last year. We know that not everybody is geared towards studies, so we're going to offer some vocational training soon with National Park. They're going to offer surf safe and also ocean training. So we want to do that vocational training also. Workforce Alliance, those are 5 certificates that you can get through National Park. Those are workforce employability skills that they learn. The getting ahead while getting out, that is probably one of our most successful programs. They're all successful, but that is a transition back to the community. If you're familiar on the outside, it's Bridges Out of Poverty. CCMC provides that with us. It's a 16-week class. They have done it in 8 weeks, and we do it twice a week. The recidivism rate on that class is actually for the males 21% and the females 23%. Anger management, as Chief Elrod said, there's a lot of angry people, so that class certainly stays full with a waiting list. Parenting, we do Love and Logic. If you're a school teacher, you may be familiar with that. And I'm really proud to say that probably 60 to 70% of our volunteers are retired school teachers. So I'm really proud that they have are giving back so much after they've already given so much through their years of service. Work readiness, that's a Workforce Alliance comes out and they do work readiness training once a month. This is to fill out applications, resumes. Celebrate Recovery, they do 4 groups a week. Alcohol Anonymous, they're out there 5 days. Eye of the Storm, Authentic Manhood. I'm really proud of the Horticulture Project. That's through the Arkansas University of Arkansas, the Agriculture Department. Last year we won 25 ribbons, first place. And that may not be a big thing, but it is a big thing to somebody that's never been recognized for doing something good. They've always been recognized for failures. And so to see something like that, they were very proud of that. Beekeeping, I've partnered with the Hot Springs Beekeepers Association this year, and we have beehives. Bedtime stories, a lot of people get confused by that. So what we do know, and this is across the country, is that families and children probably suffer the most when their parent is incarcerated. So I have a volunteer that buys children's books, and people that are going to be incarcerated for 6 months or more, they read that book and they record that book, and they sign that book, and that is recorded on a CD, and the book and the CD is sent to that kid. So every night they can hear their parent read. And when you read it, they'll say, Jack jumped over the hill, turn page. So it's actually that parent reading. So a lot of people get confused with that. We have a full-time chaplain that's there 24/7. He has 2 assistants. We offer all kinds of Bible studies. There's probably 2 or 3 Bible studies going on every single day. We have a resource manual that will tell people how to budget and all the resources that are in our community, because a lot of them don't know about them. And we're growing. Last month, Regions Bank comes out, and they are doing a financial course once a month. You would think, well, do they need that? Absolutely they need that. They need to learn how to budget. I think there was one other thing. I get so nervous. I hate going after him, especially when he's such a good speaker. Does anyone have any questions? Steve, do you have anything?
Thank you. Yeah. USnews.com article that was released this year in May stated that Arkansas was not only among the top 10 states with the highest incarceration rates, we are number 5 in the entire nation with the amount of people that we're trying to put into jail. And these programs are an integral part of Garland County's success. It keeps our staff safe, and it helps do something different than what history has shown us. We are trying to give these reentry programs to help build a better community. Some of the 2019 support this is just some support that we've had this year. Congressman Bruce Westerman came in, attended one of our graduations for our Getting Help, Getting Out, which is a reentry program. Ms. Debbie Watts, Vice President of Community Impact in Union County, reached out to Captain Cosgrove to kind of help get some of the programs going. Captain mentioned some of the new vocational training to help prepare inmates for career and food services. We have many pastors from various churches in Garland County come and visit our facility, and most importantly, just kind of keeping staff in their thoughts and prayers as they protect our community. So we greatly appreciate them on that. Bridgeview Ministries visited, offering worship services to the female population with plans to continue on a monthly basis. So just one of those areas that we're saying that we're trying to improve and trying to expand to this possible. Overall, that's the most simplest statement that I can say and sum it up. We're here to do anything and everything that we can to support the community. My badge does not say detention, doesn't say anything other than chief, but I'll even mark that off if that's what you guys need. We're here to support in any way possible that we can. Pick up the trash, drive somebody somewhere, whatever we can do to support you in your role and help us work as a team to make sure the community is safe.
Chief Elrod, I would like to ask one question.
Please.
You mentioned earlier, and I want to make sure I understood it. This point that you just very recently said. We are at number 5 in the country on, is it the number of inmates we're putting into prison, or what? I didn't quite get the context.
Ratio of population to the inmates that are inside of our correctional facilities, we are number 5 in terms of highest incarceration rates, and that's according to U.S. News. If you'd like to start?
Well, I mean,
Okay, yeah.
I would like to read it. why is that?
If I knew the answer to that, I'd probably be a billionaire and out on a yacht somewhere. I mean, it's a problem nationwide. We're constantly trying to, take different avenues on how we can mitigate those inmate population rise and spikes. The program is an excellent way that we're trying to mitigate it as best we can within our means. But no, I mean, it's an excellent question. I don't have the answer. I wish I did.
Why don't you talk about a little bit about the 309 and how this really comes about?
Oh, sure. Yeah, so we have a 309 program. We've had it since 2015 with the male population, and we were able to enhance it with some of the female population. I think I might actually have some statistics on that. That's one of the few things that I brought. Earlier on this year, we kind of did a little bit of a cost assessment to identify if some of our inmate workforce is actually able to, is it saving money or is it costing money? So we need to always kind of balance that. And of course, if they were costing money, we wouldn't have that program today. Even the jail consultant, he recommended let's do an analysis on our Act 309 program to ensure that there is a benefit versus any sort of a burden. So we gave it a true analysis from an operational and a fiscal management standpoint, and we were able to identify these are some statistics that are coming from our facilities maintenance director that kind of tracks all the maintenance throughout the building. He experienced in the last, in comparison with 2015 through 2019 statistics to date, we had a 72 to 99% reduction in kitchen maintenance in comparison with those statistics. And that's because we incorporated a new female 309 program, which is just an expansion off our male 309 program that we had in 2015. And we have them specifically operating within the food service department because we're identifying a lot of issues, a lot of damage. Our facilities maintenance director tracked it for about a year, and he experienced anywhere from 72 to 99% reduction in the kitchen maintenance. And just to kind of give you an example of how much maintenance we had in there, we had, I want to say it was in 2017, we had overall about $10,000 of unexpected maintenance costs, and we identified the kitchen as being one of those primary areas, so that's why we started to look at that. Prior to implementing the Act 309s in the kitchen, here it is, he actually had it in here. Detention experienced $6,702 worth of damage due to county inmates operating in the kitchen. And part and parcel of that is because we have such a high turnover rate of our inmates inside the kitchen. They're coming in, they'll get trained for a week, and then they're cycling right back out because all of a sudden they can bond out, or all of a sudden they came up with that money from making longer. So we were cycling through them pretty quick. So bringing in the female 309s, it was able to mitigate a lot of that cost. So we had $6,702 worth of damage due to county inmates prior to implementing the 309s. Since June of 2018, the detention center has experienced $68 of reported damage in the kitchen. That's according to our facilities maintenance director, who has a preventative maintenance program that tracks all this information. Let's see. In addition, we also took one of the female 309s, and she was trained as a seamstress. So we said, hey, this is probably a good idea. We have a whole lot of linens and blankets and towels, uniforms, and they're constantly being thrown away because of wear and tear. But with the cost of a little bit of thread, we might be able to save quite a bit of money there. So we figured we'd give it a shot. So in February of this year, we introduced a 309 seamstress who was repairing damaged inmate uniforms, storage totes, mattresses, laundry bags, and more, which would have otherwise been discarded and replaced because we didn't have the means of fixing it. To date, the seamstress has saved the facility an estimated $7,574, and I was able to fact check that by looking at our budget, and sure enough, we were $7,000 under budget than what we would have been purchasing so far to that point of the year. So I thought that was very interesting. Because we have a seamstress, she works about 40 hours a week. We have a groundskeeping team with male 309s that operate the 57 acres of land that we have. It's estimated, this is from our facilities maintenance director, it is estimated the work of the 3 male inmates equates for about 120 man hours per week, which would otherwise be a paid employee to maintain the grounds. He kind of broke it down to even if they were paid at minimum wage of $9.25, it would equate to about $57,000 a year in salaries, plus benefits and everything else. So he kind of broke all that stuff down. But I mean, that's really kind of the cost comparison. We're kind of going back and forth, and that's really what we ended up with. Operationally, I mean, they're not too much of a hindrance operationally. Of course, you got more inmates, you got to check on them. Other than that, they're outside of the unit. They're in the kitchen working. We're able to maintain surveillance through CCTV and intermittent checks. And then, of course, the food service manager, anytime that they have any kind of an issue, they give us a call because we are the supervisors of all inmates inside the facility, and we'll respond. We address it. We move forward. I would like to comment, though, on the Act 309 program. That the 309 coordinator for the entire state, and he's another one of the individuals that will go around to all the different facilities that operate the 309 program. And after he reviewed ours, he said that ours is the absolute best in the state, which was remarkable. And the reason why he liked it was just kind of interesting because we had a little bit of a negative feedback from the inmates once they came to our facility because we were so strict. We had so many rules, and they didn't like it, so they started to complain to the 309 coordinator. The 309 coordinator came in and said, my gosh, you guys have the best program. I'm so glad that you have these rules and structures that controls this program, because a lot of the other facilities, they don't. Which to us is a little foreign because we're so used to maintaining all these rules and enforcing accountability and setting expectations. So we designed the program, and that's kind of where we're at.
Sir, I have one more question. I want to know, it's like that elephant in the room. I want to know when y'all are planning on opening another pod.
So I mentioned during the presentation a little bit, last year we saw the forecast of the inmate population, and we myself, the sheriff, the quorum court members, we sat in open court and we discussed that, hey, it's coming. But one of the issues last year was our staffing. Because we had so many vacancies that even if we opened it up, we couldn't probably get staffing. So we put those concentrated efforts, and if our population continues to be as high as it has been, come budget season, that may be a real conversation that we need to have. And we'll need to see if we can budget in to open up the other housing unit. But it's very important that we kind of gauge it over the next few weeks to see, was that just an unusual spike? Because we don't want to have that knee-jerk reaction. We want to make sure that if this is something that's going to sustain long-term, then we need a long-term solution, not something that's quick and going to cost the community a lot of money. So we kind of took that into effect as well. But yeah, if population continues to grow, I'm sure the quorum court members will be coming to me and saying, hey, we got a long-term solution or a problem, and we need to sit down and we can figure it out.